Think of AI and technology management like running a city that's suddenly discovered high-speed rail. You've still got roads, buses, and bike lanes, your existing systems and tools, but now there's this thrilling, powerful new line that can move people and ideas faster than before. If you drop it in without planning, you get bottlenecks, accidents, and a lot of confused riders. With a plan, you can connect neighborhoods, grow new districts, and make the whole city hum. AI isn't just another app, it's a capability that touches strategy, data, people, process, and risk. Technology management is the job of making it all play well together so the value shows up in outcomes, not just slide decks. Start with the why and the who. AI will bend to whatever problems you choose, so it matters that the problems are worth solving. Pick use cases that are painful, frequent, and measurable, cutting response time in customer support, speed and accuracy in underwriting, quality and velocity in content creation, forecast accuracy in supply chain, the drudgery in back-office processes. The best governance in the world won't fix fuzzy goals. You want a cross-functional leadership setup that holds the tension between ambition and safety, a sponsor who can clear the way, a product-minded leader who translates business goals into AI opportunities, an engineering and data-led who knows what's feasible, a risk and legal voice to keep you out of trouble, and, if you can manage it, real users who will live with the result. Some organizations formalize this as an AI council, others embed it in an existing tech governance board. The label matters less than the habit. Decide together, measure together, and adjust together. A practical rule is to treat AI like a product, not a project. Projects end, products have life cycles. With AI, models drift, data changes, regulations evolve, costs fluctuate, and competitor benchmarks move. When you run AI as a product, you define a clear job to be done, map stakeholders, set outcome metrics, and maintain a backlog that mixes feature work, model improvements, data quality, risk controls, and user experience tweaks. You also accept that the first version is a stepping stone. That humility goes a long way toward actual impact, because it frees teams to ship small, learn fast, and scale what works. Data is the clay. If your data is fragmented, stale, or untrustworthy, AI will make your problems more efficient. You don't need a perfect data palace to start, but you do need foundations. Clear ownership for critical data domains, pipelines you can monitor, metadata and lineage so you know where things come from, and basic quality thresholds that are enforced, not merely reported. For generative AI, content is also data. Documents, knowledge bases, code, brand guidelines, policy manuals. Organize them. Decide what should be indexed and what never should. Permissions matter. The fastest way to erode trust is to let a bot surface sensitive material to the wrong person. Architecture decisions shape how fast you can move without breaking things. This avoids every team reinventing the same integration and security patterns. Think of it as paved roads that make the safe path the easy path. On the learning side, you'll see three families of capability. Traditional machine learning covers forecasting, scoring, ranking, great for structured data, optimization, and prediction. Generative AI handles language, code, images, and more, excelling at summarization, drafting, question answering, and patterning in unstructured content. Rules and automation still matter for deterministic flows and compliance. Most real solutions blend them. A copilot might retrieve relevant policies from a vector store, use a large language model to draft a response, run it through checkers for policy NP, then log and learn from human edits. Security and privacy are table stakes, but with AI they pick up new wrinkles. You're not only protecting data at rest and in transit, you're also protecting against data leakage through prompts and responses. Prompt injection can trick a model into revealing secrets or ignoring rules. Data exfiltration can happen if users paste sensitive content into a tool that sends it to a third-party model without proper controls. Your defenses include strong data classification, gateway layers that enforce policies on what can be sent where, red teaming to discover attack vectors, content filters for output, and robust logging. Don't forget the basics: secret management, least privilege access, network segmentation, and vendor due diligence. If you allow bring your own AI tools, be explicit about what's okay and what isn't, and provide safe, sanctioned alternatives so people don't resort to shadow IT. Ethics and compliance shouldn't be a speed bump you hit at the end, bake them into the recipe. Start with principles that are plain language and actionable. We use AI to augment people, not replace accountability. We protect privacy and honor consent. We avoid unfair bias and explain critical decisions. We test and monitor. We own the outcomes. Turn those into practices. Use model and data cards to document purpose, training data, limitations, and appropriate use. Run bias and fairness assessments when models affect access, pricing, hiring, lending, or other sensitive areas. Provide appeal and override paths where appropriate. Keep humans in the loop for high-stakes contexts. Map your obligations. GDPR, CCPA, sector rules like HIPAA or financial regulations, and emerging AI-specific laws such as the EU AI Act, plus frameworks like the NIST AI Risk Management Framework or ISO standards for AI management systems. You don't need to solve the whole field at once, but you do need to be deliberate. Cost management is its own craft, especially with large models. It's easy to rack up a bill with generous context windows and chatty prompts. Start by instrumenting cost per request and cost per outcome. Reduce waste with prompt engineering, response compression, token limits, and caching for repeated queries. Retrieval can shrink context size while improving relevance. For high-volume workloads, consider smaller, specialized models or distilled versions that run cheaper, and route only the hard cases to the big guns. Fine-tuning can reduce prompt length and improve quality for specific tasks, but it brings its own costs in data curation and maintenance. Batch where you can, stream where it helps, and always ask, what's the cheapest way to achieve an acceptable level of quality for this use case? Adoption is where many AI efforts stumble. A smart bot no one uses is a museum piece. The fastest path to adoption is usefulness. Spend time with the users. Sit with a claims adjuster, a support rep, a sales engineer, a compliance analyst. Watch what slows them down. Prototype in days, not months, and let them break it. Keep the human in control. Make it easy to accept, edit, or reject AI suggestions, and log those choices so the system learns. Provide transparency without overwhelming. A short rationale, links to sources, a confidence signal that's calibrated to reality, not marketing. Train people, not just on buttons, but on new workflows and judgment. Name what changes. Roles shift when a copilot drafts first passes, or a monitoring service flags anomalies. Build a champions network, enthusiasts who coach peers and feed you feedback. And celebrate wins with real numbers: time saved, errors reduced, revenue unlocked. Change management becomes even more important when AI touches identity and craft. Writers, developers, analysts, and designers take pride in their work. Acknowledge that. Position AI as a power tool, not a substitute. Share stories about how it raises the floor and the ceiling. It takes away grunt work and opens time for higher-order problems. Be honest about limits and failure modes so people don't feel gaslit by hype. Involve skeptics early and listen to their edge cases. They'll make your product better and become your most credible advocates when you address their concerns. Vendor management in the AI era feels like buying from a fast-moving bazaar. Every week, a new model, a new framework, a shiny new platform. Discipline here is healthy. Evaluate vendors on security posture, data handling, performance on your tasks, transparency on training data and capabilities, roadmap stability, and the ease of switching later. If a vendor promises, "No data is used for training," get it in writing and understand the fine print. For critical paths, avoid single points of failure. Keep fallback models, and build abstraction layers so you can swap providers. Watch for the subtle lock-in of proprietary features that creep into your core logic. It's fine to use them, just be intentional. Measurement keeps you honest. Define success like a scientist and a CFO had a meeting. For a support copilot, track handle time, resolution rate, customer satisfaction, and the rate of human overrides. For a content assistant, track cycle time, approval rates, brand compliance, and downstream performance like conversion or engagement. For code assistants, look at time to complete tasks, defect rates, and developer satisfaction, but also guard against cargo cult code getting through. Layer system metrics under the business metrics, latency, cost per request, quality scores from human review or automated tests, so you can diagnose problems. And measure equity and safety. Are error rates higher for certain groups? Are we seeing drift in outputs? Do users trust the system more or less over time? Let's make it concrete. Imagine a customer support team drowning in tickets and knowledge scattered across wikis. You assemble a small squad, a product manager, a couple of engineers, a knowledge lead, a support rep, a risk partner. First sprint, you index the top 1,000 articles, build a retrieval layer with permissions, and wire a model to answer internal questions with citations only from approved content. You release to a pilot group and instrument everything: source coverage, time to first draft, edit distance between AI and final, hallucination rate flagged by no citation checks. You learn that specific product areas lack good content, so you fix the content pipeline while you tune prompts. You set a rule that outbound replies to customers require human review, and you add a why link the agent can inspect. Within a month, you see draft time drop by 40%, first contact resolution up by 8%, and novice agents closing the gap with veterans. You scale, then add customer-facing self-serve with guardrails and clearer disclaimers. Now a supply chain use case. Forecast accuracy is a perennial pain, and promotions blow up your models. You combine classic time series methods with an events feature store that captures promotions, holidays, weather, and macro signals. You evaluate rigorously against holdout periods that include shocks. You open the black box a bit with explainability tools that show what drove last week's misses. You add a generative layer that drafts plain language summaries for planners. Forecast increased 12% in region A due to promo X and weather Y. Risk of stockouts at locations L1, L2. Planners can accept or correct and add notes that feed back into the system. You track waste reduction, service levels, and the number of overrides needed over time. It's not sexy, but it saves real money. How about a creative shop's content pipeline? You set brand rules and tone guidelines, train a lightweight model on approved examples, and build a workflow where writers use AI for ideation, outlines, and first drafts. Designers use it for rapid mock-ups. Legal gets a fast pass with embedded checkers that flag claims and risky phrases. You run outputs through plagiarism and copyright checks and maintain a log of sources used in retrieval. Edits become training signals so the assistant learns preferences. The outcome isn't Robots wrote our blog. It's that your humans ship more and better work, and the brand stays consistent. There are predictable potholes. One is the demo trap, where someone builds a flashy proof of concept that works beautifully in a controlled environment but crumbles in production, where data is messy and edge cases abound. Resist launching broadly from demos. Run small pilots with real users and real stakes. Another is peanut buttering AI across everything without depth. Spreading a thin layer of bots everywhere satisfies no one. Pick a few high-value flows and go deep so you can demonstrate a real win. There's the model worship problem, where teams tinker endlessly with prompts or chase the newest model instead of fixing the boring stuff. Unclear requirements, poor UX, sloppy data. Usually, outcomes move more from improving retrieval, clarifying context, and tightening the workflow than from swapping models every Tuesday. And then there's governance is theater. Policies written in lofty language, ignored in practice. Keep governance lightweight and tied to gates that matter. Go, no-go criteria. Risk reviews on impactful changes. Auditability in logs, not endless forms. Culture underpins all of this. If your technology management is command and control, with decisions bottlenecked at the top and blame cascading downward, AI will become a political football. If your culture tolerates shadow systems because official channels are slow and opaque, you'll have a sprawl of agents without oversight. The antidote is clarity and speed. Provide sanctioned sandboxes where teams can experiment within guardrails. Publish patterns and reference implementations so people don't start from scratch. Offer office hours and internal communities where practitioners share wins and scars. Recognize the teams that retire manual workflows as eagerly as those that launch shiny tools. And keep repeating that outcomes matter more than artifacts. Staffing is a balancing act. You don't need an army of PhDs to get value from AI, but you do need a blend. Product folks who can frame problems and measure results, engineers who can integrate and harden solutions, data scientists or machine learning engineers who can build and evaluate, designers who can craft intuitive experiences and calibrate trust signals, and risk partners who understand both the law and the technical realities. Upskilling your current people might be the highest ROI move you can make. Run practical training with your own use cases, not abstract labs. Pair novice teams with experienced mentors. Create rotational roles so developers who've shipped AI can seed other teams. And invest in your frontline. The best insights live where the work happens. The conversation about AI often tilts toward what's possible, but good technology management keeps one eye on opportunity and the other on posture. Resilience matters. If a model endpoint goes down or an update degrades quality, what's your failover? If an output causes harm, what's your incident response? Build playbooks, rehearse them, and keep humans empowered to shut things off if needed. Document decisions. What model, what data, what risks identified, what mitigations in place. That makes audits less scary and learning faster. And set review cadences that match the speed of change. Quarterly might be too slow for a fast-moving assistant used by thousands of employees. Looking ahead, the stack will keep shifting. More domain-specific models will emerge. Agents, systems that plan and take actions across tools, will mature from toy demos to narrow, reliable workflows in constrained environments. Edge AI will grow where latency and privacy win the argument, on device assistants, quality checks on the factory floor, offline first field tools. Multimodal models will let you unify text, image, audio, and sensor data in more natural flows. The management story stays the same. Pick meaningful problems, design the socio-technical system, people, process, and tech, as a whole, and keep your grip firm but flexible. If you're starting out, don't try to write a constitution day one. Do 3 things. First, run a discovery sprint with your business partners to surface and rank use cases by value, feasibility, and risk. Second, stand up a basic platform that lets you build safely. Identity and access, data gateways, model endpoints, logging and monitoring, a vector store, and a set of approved patterns. Third, pick 1 or 2 use cases and deliver a pilot to a small group with real metrics. Use what you learn to refine your governance, your platform, and your backlog. If you're already in flight with a dozen experiments, pause to connect the dots. Are you measuring the same way across teams? Do you have a plan to scale what's working and sunset what isn't? Is someone accountable for the boring, essential bits, data quality, permissions, cost controls? The most important mindset shift is to treat AI less like magic and more like craft. It's astonishingly capable, but it's also probabilistic, context-sensitive, and as good or bad as the systems around it. You will have moments of delight when a bot drafts an answer you would have labored over, and moments of frustration when it insists on a wrong path. Build for those realities. Give AI the chance to shine by feeding it good context and clear instructions. Box it in where appropriate. Let humans do what they do best: judge, empathize, decide, and take responsibility. Over time, as you collect feedback and iterate, the line between human and machine effort will feel less like a tug-of-war and more like a relay. In the end, AI and technology management is about stewardship. You're stewarding scarce attention, precious data, brand trust, and the livelihoods of people who want to do good work. When you align the shiny with the necessary, when your strategy, platform, governance, and culture point the same direction, you get compounding gains. Meetings are shorter because answers are in reach. Backlogs shrink because routine tasks are automated. Customers get faster, clearer help. Teams feel more creative because the mundane is handled. And your city, the organization you're building, becomes a place where the new high-speed rail didn't wreck the map, it rewrote it thoughtfully, so more people can get where they're going, faster and with fewer detours. That's the promise worth managing toward.